Okay, so now we're talking a little bit more about the Ukraine, but the crazy right-wing reaction to the Ukraine situation. And next up is Lindsey Graham, who was my favorite actress on Petticoat Junction. Okay, that's okay. All right. So here he is. He tweeted he's upset about the way Barack Obama is handling the Ukraine, and he's upset even that Putin went into Crimea. He's upset about it, and so he tweeted out a couple of tweets, and I don't know, maybe he had his corset on a little too tight and he got a little lightheaded. I don't know what happened because they sounded a little crazy. Put up his first tweet. Can you put that up, Gilbert, so we can take a look at it? So here is his first tweet. He says, "It started with Benghazi. When you kill Americans and nobody pays a price, you invite this type of aggression. Hashtag Ukraine." So that's Lindsey Graham connecting the Ukraine with Benghazi, and then he's got 3 tweets. Here's a second tweet: was Putin basically came to the conclusion after Benghazi, Syria, and Egypt everything Obama had been engaged in. He's a weak, indecisive leader. And then one more tweet from him. He says, "I think Putin believes Obama is really all talk and no action. Unless we push back soon, the worst is yet to come." Yeah, and Lindsey makes a good point about Benghazi. Obviously, Putin and the Ukrainian people watch Fox News following their Benghazi coverage, and that's how the revolution started.
That's right, yeah.
Right? That's what he said, right? Because that's everybody in the Ukraine watches Fox News. So goes to Putin. They're like, "Oh, this Benghazi thing. I bet you what, we're going to go in and we're going to win the Crimea."
Also, this now goes to everything Robert said in our previous segment. Like, the Ukraine and Crimea in particular is of intense strategic importance to Vladimir Putin. This was in response to the Ukrainian independence movement and nothing else. Like, doesn't matter what we did in Benghazi or anywhere else. Putin was going to do this now because he needs it. Not because
I think it had to do with when the Marines got blown up in Lebanon. I think Putin was. I remember he was like, "Oh, I bet you in about 30 or 40 years, I bet you."
But that Reagan was president then, and Lindsey Graham would have been for whatever it is.
That's
that
right.
He did. Look, the only way this could have had anything to do with Benghazi would have been if Russians had stormed the U.S. embassy in the Ukraine or Ukraine, right? And that isn't what happened.
Right.
So it's just that they just want to keep saying buzzwords over and over, and it goes to that pleasure center in the brain. It's like a mouse and cheese, and that's what I like hearing about, and that's what I like tasting.
And that was the same day that Darrell Issa had his phony hearing on the IRS, where he shut off the microphone of Elijah Cummings, right? Yeah. We all saw that story. And listen, we all know that Barack Obama told Hillary Clinton to order the IRS to have people killed in Benghazi.
That's what I read.
We all know that's what happens. So again, we need again with the theme that we need to start a war whenever someone does anything. That's not really a coherent foreign policy. Let's just start a war. Oh, Benghazi, Syria, Egypt. Lindsey Graham would like us to start a war in every one of those. He might be overcompensating for something. I'm not exactly.
What are you trying to say about Lindsey Graham? I don't know.
The way Lindsey Graham holds a grudge, I assume he's a really terrible girlfriend. I assume he's just a bitch, like all of a sudden, like you're having a little fight about the pots and pans, and everything comes up from like years ago. He just remembers every grudge he has ever kept.
Right. When did we start talking about our relationship? Like, you walked the dog last night. I was supposed to today, but I couldn't see you. Like, I thought we were just fighting about the dog. Right.
So what do you make of his thing with John McCain? They always trot the two of them out together. They always travel the world together. McCain is a married man. Lindsey Graham is a lifetime bachelor who always votes against gay issues. I'm not saying anything, but
yes, he's a confirmed bachelor.
Yeah. Why are they always together, those two? And I feel like McCain must think, like, when they walk around together, McCain must be thinking everyone's looking at us like we're a couple, because Lindsey Graham is getting something off McCain. I'm telling you.
When you say getting something,
not sexual, but like some sort of gratification of being with a man like John McCain.
I don't know. I think it has something to do with they were both in the Navy, or they were both in the Air Force. Which one? Whatever they were in, they were both.
I think it was the Air Force.
Was it the Navy?
No, McCain's in the Navy. Yeah, McCain
They're in the
graduated
Navy.
from Annapolis.
They're in
And
a
what-
different kind of Navy now.
And what about, and was Lindsey Graham in the Navy or the Air Force?
Lindsey Graham just loves the song in the Navy. Really, anything by the Village People, really.
I think that's what they're, because they were both, anyway,
You
I
can
think
sail the 7 seas in the Navy. You can put your mind at ease in the Navy.
So what Lindsey Graham said in his tweets was so bat crap crazy, right? That the queen of the bat crappers, Michelle Malkin, called him out.
No.
Really?
Michelle Malkin
I didn't realize that. Wow.
called him out. Show the next. She said, she tweeted, "Ugh, Graham blog, you are an embarrassment to all who truly care about Benghazi. Just stop."
I mean, that's crazy because she is a complete fucking nut job. She's
Yes.
written about me a few times.
Oh,
about,
really?
Yeah, what a crazy left-wing loon I am. So the fact that she would stop Lindsey Graham.
She's
is-
calling out Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, because she usually calls out the other side. So maybe she
So
deserves
she
a
has
little
some-
credit. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
She has some part of her that recognized this was going too far. Like this makes Benghazi seem trivial because no one's going to think
Sure,
that
we'll
Putin
ask-
rolled into the Ukraine because of Benghazi.
Sure, we'll ask for Barack Obama's birth certificate and we'll say that Obamacare is going to kill everybody, but this is just silly. Come on, you're really getting crazy. I mean, Barack Obama's a Muslim and a communist, but come on with this Benghazi already, Lindsay. Gosh, you're making us look stupid.
Yeah.
Now, I was just on the phone with Sarah Palin, and she's upset that you're making us look dumb.
And
Let's not forget, though, Sarah Palin did
She did
say
predict.
that
She did predict
Russia
that-
might invade the Ukraine, and Romney did say they were our #1 geopolitical foe. So aren't we all eating crow?
Oh, boy, I talk about a couple of Nostradamuses.
Yeah.
And by the way, she's not even saying don't talk about Benghazi. She loves Benghazi. She wants to keep talking about Benghazi. She just thinks this was the
This was
one
the
bad point about Benghazi.
She goes, I really care about Benghazi,
Right.
and you're just using it for bad purposes.
Right, yeah.
You've got to have integrity when dealing with a phony scandal.
Right. It turns out there's one thing that's inappropriate to tie Benghazi to, and this is it.
Yes. Well, just in case you weren't sure that Benghazi was a real story, you know, if you think I know you think it's a phony story, and I know you think it's a phony story, but I was watching Fox News. Steve Ducey was interviewing Lindsey Graham, and
Oh man, that's like it's Edward R.
we go.
Edward R. Murrow.
here
all
we
of a
go.
sudden, yeah.
And here we go. Here's how you know it's a real scandal.
I think it's great that mainstream media finally catching up. CBS did this story on Benghazi, and I see criticism from the left where they go, you guys are covering a phony scandal. 60 Minutes doesn't cover phony scandals.
Yes, 60 Minutes doesn't cover phony. You know that story they did on this phony scandal where their lead reporter had to quit? Yeah, you mean that story? Yeah, the one that ruined their reputation? Yeah, they don't do phony stories, except ones that ruin their reputation.
That was 60 Minutes too.
Oh, that was 60 Minutes too.
yeah.
Yeah, 60 Minutes. They're not like us at Fox News. They don't cover phony scandals unless a Fox News executive, David Rhodes, becomes head of CBS News. That's when 60 Minutes starts covering phony scandals.
There you go.
They have the Fox News executive, David Rhodes, takes over CBS News within, I don't know, seconds. They have a phony stories on a phony scandal. Their lead reporter has to quit. She has to resign in humiliation. Their whole organization was humiliated.
Then they did the nonsense climate change
Climate
story.
change thing.
And they did the story on the National Security Administration.
Yes.
That was like their promotional video. It was
Yes.
like a
That thing
college
was-
campus recruiting video.
So 60 minutes, so like all those guys, so Steve Croft and whoever's left
Leslie
over,
Stahl.
Leslie Stahl. So they don't go, hey, can we stop this? Can we go back to doing news again and investigate? Because you guys are humiliating us. Do they don't care because they're getting a check, right? Which is really big. Is that why
I'm
they
sure
don't-
they're getting a big check, and I don't know whether they don't care. But they probably talk about it in the break
I mean,
room.
they're
I mean, they're old, literally.
Yes,
I
they're
mean,
literally-
they're just old, and they're so insulated after so many years of doing the same thing over and over. And then this new guy comes in, and we're going to try something new, and then see what happens.
We'll try something new where we don't do.
and then they
news.
go, okay, well, we're not going to try anything new anymore.
The new thing we're
Because of what
trying, the new thing they're trying is trying to ruin their reputation, and turns out it seems to be working like a MFer.
They just hired a new reporter today, Bill Whitaker, just a longtime CBS reporter, joining 60 Minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a real reporter, so
We'll see.
Fingers
It
crossed.
is nice to see Fox News giving other news organizations credit when they think that they agree with them until
Yes.
they find out that they don't.
Yes,
quite.
yes. I'm pretty sure didn't 60 Minutes retract that story, fire the lead reporter, but they kept the
Suspended
executive.
her. I think she's not technically
Oh,
fired.
she's suspended. Okay.